how can we deal with anxieties when discerning our vocation? And so by that, I mean, they might mean a number of things,
Sure.
but I think one of them, and then if there are other strands to draw out, is what if I'm wrong? Like, how do I know?
Yeah.
What if I make a mistake and choose the wrong one?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So there's something that I found very helpful. There can be, especially I think in this day and age where everybody is bombarded with choices and ways that you can live your life and things you can do. And, it's like there's an overabundance of paths that you can choose. And so there can be this kind of sense of like, well, how can I commit to this one thing? Say that you sense maybe that you have a call to religious life. Can I really discern making final vows in this religious community how can I, there's all these other things. So first of all, I think a really important thing that maybe doesn't get talked about enough, if you discern that the Lord may be calling you towards religious life, in the initial stages of discernment, you are not discerning, is God calling me to make final vows in this community? That's not what you're discerning. What you're discerning is God asking me to become a postulant in this community? It's one step. It's like, can I make a leap of faith? I feel the Lord drawing me in this way towards this community. Has he given me the light on this path where I don't need to have certitude. I don't need to have, all it is, can I trust him enough to take a step and to enter postulancy in this community? And when you do that, so what my own recommendation is, for the first, say, 6 months, don't discern anything. Just live. Live the life that is before you. Commit to, okay, I'm going to live this way for a year. If nothing else, I'm going to experience prayer. I'm going to experience sanctification. I'm going to experience some degree of suffering, but I'm going to experience good things within the context of this community. And I'm going to live this way. And, at some point down the line, say 6 months, I will reflect back on my experience. Lord, where have you been? What have you been doing in my heart during this time? And noting things as you're going through, kind of keeping track of the good things, the bad things. What is my heart doing? Does this seem good? Where have the joys been? If you can keep track of these things and begin to pray with them at some point, your next question is not, Lord, should I make final vows with this community? It's, Lord, are you calling me to become a novice with this community? The next step in formation, right? And so that way, it's much less anxiety ridden if you're able to give the Lord, to be able to take the next best step in the journey, right?
Yeah. It mustn't be easy because I'm sure everyone in your life doesn't see it that way. They're like, oh, he's becoming a priest.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, no, I got 9 years here.
Yeah, I entered in 2011. I was ordained 2022.
Yeah.
So now our runway is a little bit longer than most, but still just to say that. So first of all, there needs to be a conviction under all of it that the Lord Jesus wants good things for me in my life, right? And I sometimes hear people say, well, what if I get called to a religious life and then I'm just miserable, right? People will say that. And it's like, okay, so first of all, the Lord wants to bless you and to bring good things into your life. And if you're able to trust him enough to take the next best step, whether that's the next best step in dating or the next best step towards religious life, you do what you can in discernment and then take a step. And we have guys that have joined us that have spent 3 or 4 years with us and then they discerned out. Some of my classmates who now are married, have beautiful families, they have children, and it's wonderful. And every time, though, they look back and they say, the time that I lived in a religious life helped me to become a better husband and a better father.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's, the formation and it's never time that's wasted. And so just to say, if you look at it from the standpoint of it originates from Jesus Christ, who loves us, who's drawing us, who wants to draw our hearts and to fulfill, to offer us a path of fulfillment and joy in this life. And that to take one step at a time, not to run ahead of grace. You can't look at a fork in the road like 5 miles down the line. Should I make a left or a right at that fork? You don't have the light or you don't have the perspective to understand that fork. By the time you get there, if you're walking with the Lord, the light shines on the next few steps of your path.
Yeah.
So by the time you get there, by the time you get to final vows, it's like, okay, at every step it was like, yes, the next good step is good. And so trusting the Lord at each juncture to continue to lead you and guide you in that way.
That's such great advice. I don't think I've ever heard that. I guess I would have thought, if I was in someone's shoes right now going with that advice, I guess I'd feel bad kind of using your order to figure out what I'm doing, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm like a burden to the order, or if how many men just come in, they get a bunch of formation and then leave.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thanks a lot. We put all this money and time into you and now you're out.
Yeah. Well, listen, there's when someone calls us up, there's always we have wonderful men, friars, who are a part of the vocations team, and they will have lots of conversations and kind of walk with guys. And listen, it's discernment is not a one-way street. There's a two-way process. So the person seeking to enter, as well as the vocations team. And there are lots of conversations and visits that come. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't need to have absolute certitude about the end game in order to enter a religious community. That's not the case. And it's not that you're using them for formation. It's that, listen, there are many guys. I mean, St. Teresa's father was a seminarian, and her mother was in a religious community, as I recall, right? And they're both canonized saints.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So it's not that. Now, listen, it's because the question is, some people the Lord gives absolute certitude. For some people, he does.
Yeah.
That's a very small percentage. For most people, it's like, I have a sense that the Lord is drawing me in this way. I'm not sure, but I think it seems good. It seems like I'm being drawn. Okay, so are you able to take a step in faith? And it's much less scary when you realize that there are lots of little steps in faith, that it's not like you walk in the door, they throw a habit on you, you make final vows, and then you're done for the rest of your life. It's that you take a step in faith, there's lots of growth and conversation and prayer, and then you make another step in faith. And the Lord shows you over time, like, yes, this is actually a really good thing for you, right? This is not just so that you can serve the church, or so that it's so that because this is for your own good as a human being created in the image and likeness of God.
Would you do me a favor and click the subscribe button? I don't know if you know this, but it's 100% free, and it's one of the best ways to support the work that we're doing here at Pints with Aquinas. Help spread these excellent interviews all over YouTube, and I think you'd agree, there's a lot of junk on YouTube. We need more good conversations like this.